anything, but that was way more than 10 seconds. Okay. Okay, welcome everyone to the town board meeting of January 28th. We're going to do things, I guess, well, first we'll just take a roll call. Here.
Councilman Dennis Troy.
Then we're going to do it.
Present.
Councilman Tom Devaney.
Here.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Vitari. Supervisor Teresa Kent.
Here. Well, I guess we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Do I have any volunteers? Mike, I can tell you when to start.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we're going to do things a little out of order tonight because we have a couple people here who are being appointed to boards, and I don't want to keep them here and bore them all night, and then they may reconsider their decision to go on the board. So we're going to go to 21. I don't think Debbie's here or she's coming, but we have a motion to reappoint Debbie Sue Weissenberg as to the member of the Architecture Community Appearance Board of Review, ACABOR, for a 3-year term from January 1, 2020 to expires on December 31, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, I'm going to skip the next one because I know she's coming, so we'll come back to that one. So we're going to go to number 23. Appoint Sharon Burke, member, Architecture and Community Appearance Board of Review, 2020, 1-year term to fill the unexpired term of Katie Beckman. We have Tom Divany, a second. Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. Anybody want to say anything about any of this? Want to say anything? Sharon's here. Anybody want to say anything? Okay. Next, we have appoint Joseph Malillo, a member of the Architectural Community and Appearance Board of Review, 2020, for a 3-year term, starting January 1, 2020, and expiring on December 31, 2022. Can I get a motion? Paul Valentine, Tom Divany, second. All in favor? Aye. Reappoint Chris Dunnigan, Chairman, Architecture and Community Appearance Board of Review, for a 1-year term, starting January 1, 2020, and expiring. He, so is he reappointing, or is he just appointing?
I think he's appointed because he filled in.
Probably wasn't appointed by this board.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah, so we got to appoint.
So we appoint, take away the re. Okay. Appoint Chris Dunnigan, okay. Chairman, Architecture Community Appearance Board of Review for a 1-year term beginning January 1, 2020 and expiring December 31, 2020. Can I get a motion? Dennis Troy, second. Tom Divany, all in favor? Aye. Number 26, we have reappoint Bob Nealon, member, Orangetown Housing Authority, for a 5-year term commencing January 1, 2020 and expiring on December 31, 2024. Can I get a motion? Get a second? Dennis Troy, you got one, you got them? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Reappoint Thomas Warren, Chairman, Planning Board, for a 1-year term commencing January 1, 2020 and expiring December 31, 2020. Can I get a motion? Paul Valentine, second. Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Reappoint William Young, member of the Planning Board, for a 7-year term commencing January 1, 2020 and expiring December 31, 2026. Can I get a motion? Tom Divany, second. Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Reappoint Bruce Bond, alternate member of the Planning Board, 2020, for a 1-year term commencing January 1, 2020 and expiring December 31, 2020. Can I get a motion? Tom Divany, move. Second. Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Reappoint Daniel Sullivan, Chairman, Zoning Board of Appeals, for a 1-year term commencing January 1, 2020 and expiring December 31, 2020. Can I get a motion? Oh, you made it? Okay. Dennis Troy, and first, and then Tom Divany, second. All in favor? Aye. Reappoint Michael Bosco, member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, for a 5-year term commencing January 1, 2020 and expiring December 31, 2024. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Paul, and then Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
If I go too fast, just slow me down. Okay. Appoint Ronald Bonamolo Jr. to a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals 2020 for a 2-year term to fill the unexpired term of Joan Solomon, commencing January 1, 2020, and expiring December 31, 2021. Can I get a motion? Paul Valentine, second. Tom Diviny, all in favor? Aye. Appoint Billy Valentine, alternate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 1-year term, commencing January 1, 2020, expiring December 31, 2020. Is he, but you want to review? Yeah. Okay. So we got Dennis made it, yeah. Tom did, and all in favor? Aye, accept.
All right, I know we have,
Oh, she came in. Okay, we're gonna go back. We just moved way too quick. One number, Shane. Okay, number 22. Appoint Kenyatta Jones Arietta to a member of the Architecture Community Appearance Board of Review for a 3-year term commencing January 1, 2020, and expiring on December 31, 2022. Can I get a motion? Okay, okay. All in favor? Aye. You got it? You got it. Okay.
I was just gonna say, we got Rob Bonamalo, why don't you stand up, he's with the zoning board. Sharon Burke, you right here?
Yeah.
All right, she's being appointed, Joe Malillo's over there.
Kenyatta's in the back.
All
Stand
right.
up.
So you guys are all getting appointed to the boards, congratulations.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Dennis wants to say something.
Orangetown, I've talked about this a zillion times, and other members of the board have. Orangetown is a great town. This last election, there was a lot of talk about overdevelopment in the county, and Chris Day did an excellent defense, saying that back in 2000, there was about 50,000 people here in Orangetown. Right now, there's about 49,500 here in Orangetown. Orangetown is very conservative about development. We try and do good development here in the town. But one of the things that enables us to control development in town is the land use boards. At times, it's a thankless job, all right? It's like 2 nights a month. They also have to go out and look at the properties they're gonna be voting on, all right? And we appreciate the people who volunteer, who step up for the town and go on these boards. Sometimes it takes a lot of persuasion, sometimes it takes twisting of arms, and other times people really want to just volunteer. But it's a very important job that you're involved in here in the town. Mike Mandel, who comes to our meetings all the time, is on the planning board for a lot of years. But all those positions are very important. We thank you for your stepping up to the plate.
Anybody else? Okay. You guys are free to leave if you want. Or you can stay, it's up to you. Okay, so we're gonna go back and just do some announcements. Just to remind everybody, Orangetown's gonna be hosting two public information sessions regarding the participation in the Community Choice Aggregation Program. I know we've already had at least one presentation here. There's been 2 presentations that you could have attended. So basically how it works is Orangetown's going to be looking to become the person that decides who your default utility company is. So right now, if you're with Orange and Rockland, you can choose to go with several different carriers, but if you don't, Orange and Rockland defaults you to somebody. This is a way where the towns and through a lot of municipalities go out to bid and try to get better prices, and then that becomes your default. You can always opt out of it if you don't want to do it, but I think it's a good thing. I've sat through one session already. I'll probably sit through one more. So if you have questions, it's a great thing to sit through. So we have those scheduled. We did one on a Saturday for people, Saturday, February 8th, between 2 and 3, and then we did the next ones before the town board meeting, right? Allison, is that what we did? The next one we put on right before the town board meeting, so if people want to come an hour early, they can sit through the presentation. That's on February 25th, and it'll be here from 6 to 7. Go ahead.
Right now, isn't Orange and Rockland the default carrier?
No. No, they're not the default carrier. They don't do, they just do the transmission, not the supply. So there is they actually don't have the,
All right.
so,
I thought
yeah,
that's
so
how
you,
it was.
you get defaulted to, and you can choose right now. I think I've chosen some solar or something, I don't know what I picked, but they choose the default, and it's not always the most, they're not always the
All right,
cheapest.
I always thought it was them because they wanted to make the money.
Yeah, no, they don't do it anymore. according to the presentation I sat through. Now, I don't know if you heard something different, but
Well, I mean, Jeff, I mean, I thought that's what they told us at the presentation.
That is what they told us in the earlier presentation.
But he's saying they are the default, and I don't think that's the K, no. Yeah.
Well.
Okay,
when-
Tom, I think you need to attend one of these sessions.
No, that was the presentation they gave us, that they, and I think Jeff agrees with me, that was what they told us, so.
They said that we did not have to change, that we could stay with O and R.
Well, you don't.
You don't, you
You
definitely
don't.
don't. But you will have to, if you're already with somebody else, they will leave you there. If you're not, you're gonna opt into whoever the town ultimately chooses, but you can opt out. No, you don't have to stay with it, but you'd have to opt out.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I sat through the presentation. I think it's a good thing for questions like that. To me, it sounded like a win-win. And like I said, I've sat through one of the presentations here, and then I sat through one on one of the evenings, so. So again, we put it right before the town board meeting, Eileen, so you can come early and you can double check
All right.
or
sounds
triple
good.
check. Okay. Should we go into the public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two public hearings tonight. The first one is dealing with the Orangeburg Commons. It's a zoning text amendment. And so I think we can make a motion to open the public hearing. Can I get a motion?
I'll make it.
Okay, that's Paul. I have a second.
Second, keep it
Okay.
brief, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Troy, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yep, hold on. We have to, yeah, we have to get my script is way over here. Okay. Okay, so we're asking the town clerk to advise us to the publication and any submissions received?
Yes,
Public.
the affidavit of posting, affidavit of publication, affidavit of mailing, and
Okay, and you have, from the county planning?
yes, comments from the Rockland County Planning Board and the Orangetown Planning Board.
Do we have copies of those comments?
Did you get the entity disclosure?
We did get the disclosure,
All right.
part of the application.
Cool.
The county comments are part of the backup if you go to. They were put on the backup, but
I found them. Find them?
I got them. Lead agency, Orangetown.
well, those are the resolutions. Are there attachments on them?
Yeah, we have a lead.
Yeah.
There's 6 of them,
It's the one that says attachments, Rob.
Which number?
under 11.
11, okay.
This is called the computer.
Modern technology.
I have a
It
copy
was
here.
easier when we had copies, right?
You want the
No,
hard
I have
copy?
some
It's right here.
Yeah, it's the last one. The GML review is the last one.
Dennis is Googling over here, doesn't know what he's doing.
The GML review is the last one.
Okay, how are you?
Town planning board.
You want me to summarize?
Yeah, why not?
So this, and I'm sure Ms. Tortorella will get into this. This has been here several times before. But the county planning comments, the letter is dated January 16, 2020. First comment is that by increasing the total gross floor area that can be developed for retail in these mixed-use developments from 30 to 35%, the town must consider the precedent that is being set may result in higher volume of traffic to and from the developments and a need for greater parking. Second one is indicates if the town continues to tailor a zoning code to meet the needs of an applicant, spot zoning may occur. That's the rezoning of a single parcel, a small area to benefit one or more property owners rather than carrying out an objective of the comprehensive plan or intent of the zoning ordinance. The ramifications of allowing this must be fully assessed.
And then the rest are just with respect to, generally speaking, comments about sending to the State Department of Transportation, Palisades Interstate Park Commission, and County Department of Highways, which was all done, I believe, and several other comments. Many of these have been addressed in the resolution, but I think, again, Ms. Tortorella will, I'm sure, address these during the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, we can start with presentation.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Jerry Tortorella of Hockerman, Tortorella, and Wexstein. Our offices are in White Plains, and I'm counsel for the applicant. And with me this evening are John Stebbins, who's a project manager with XSS Hotels, which is the company that has been working with the owner of the shopping center to develop the Residence Inn that's actually already on the site, and will be working with us to develop this other hotel, the Fairfield Inn, which is part of the dual brand that we're here this evening to discuss with the board. And then Alfred Rossi is here from RD Management on behalf of the applicant. We're here this evening because we want to build a second hotel on the Orangeburg Commons site. What you see up on the screen is the site plan that we're proposing for the development. The Stop and Shop actually it already exists, and the Residence Inn already exists. Originally, we had approval for the two hotels, so it would be the Residence Inn, and then there was a hotel that was proposed in this location and approved by the board. And then we had approval for a variety, about 40,000 square feet of retail. That was the very early stages, very original approvals. Then we came into the board because Stop and Shop wanted to be able to get established in the center. And there was an amendment to allow the food market. And in connection with that, we decreased the amount of other retail. So we have the food market here that was approved. We have a pad here of approximately 3,000 square feet, a pad here of approximately 5,200 square feet. This might be 3,500. These are intended to be, it was envisioned that this might be a bank pad or something similar to that, and that this would be a restaurant pad. We're here this evening because we have been working to be able to bring the second hotel to the site. We had not been successful until recently. Marriott has a new product that it has introduced to the market a couple of years ago. It's called a dual brand hotel, and they want to bring the first in Rockland County to this site. And what it means is that instead of two freestanding structures, they combine the two hotels into one building. And we would do that by building an addition onto the existing Residence Inn, and then upgrading the existing facilities and merging the addition and the two hotels so that they would have shared common spaces, but nicer common spaces, larger common spaces, more nicely appointed common spaces. And what that does is it affords an option of two different choices in the market, but we end up having more efficiency, and it becomes it's a more sustainable model in the market. They're happening all over. I actually happen to be witness one and stay in one in Austin, Texas, for example. It was a combination Residence Inn and Courtyard by Marriott. In this instance, it's the Residence Inn and it's a Fairfield Inn. Originally, between the two hotels, we were going to have 248 rooms. Now we're going to have 200 rooms. So we're still having a nice critical mass of population that would be occupying the site. And the hope is that that will continue to develop synergy and enable us to actually end up building out the other two pads as well, because I know that the town is interested in seeing the center be built out itself. We're here because under the mixed-use regulations in the town, there is a limit as to the maximum percentage of gross floor area in the shopping center that can be devoted to retail, personal service, and restaurant uses, and the current code limits that to 30%. Because we are combining the hotels, the square footage of the combined hotels would be less than two freestanding, and that makes the percentages not work anymore. And we are now up to just under 35%, and that's what necessitates the change in the zoning amendment. We're not proposing any additional retail. We're not proposing any additional personal service or restaurant. We are just combining the two hotels, and the math needs to work, in essence. And I think when I read the county's comments, it seemed to me that the county didn't fully appreciate that that was happening here, because the comments suggested that you actually are changing the character of the site, and there is, again, no increase in the uses that there's a limitation on the percentage of from what's already been approved. We submitted a letter. Our letter back in October outlined why we believe this meets the terms of the comprehensive plan and the Route 303 overlay district regulations. Those were two comments that I think were also either directly made or there an inference to that effect was made by the county. Basically, those regulations were that this should be a site where you had a variety of uses that would be developed in an integrated fashion. That's still going to happen here. And there was an intent not to have this be just a shopping mall. That's what's the idea behind making it a mixed use. And we, again, are not changing the retail character of the site from what was already approved. We are sticking with that. It's just a matter of needing to make the math work. We also meet all of the criteria for a special permit, which we've already had to meet because there's an existing special permit that exists for the site. We need to amend that special permit because the underlining concept site plan will now change. And when that changes, we need to get an amendment to the special permit. If we obtain approval for the zoning amendment and an approval for the amendment of the special permit, then we will need to go to the planning board for approval, and we'll need to go to ACABOR. The site plan that you see there conforms in all respects with zoning, except with respect to the 30% limitation. We have provided you with floor plans and other design elements. Signage has always been something that we've dealt with the Zoning Board of Appeals, that we've obtained amendments, variances for signage, and I anticipate that that may be necessary here too, but again, we would be subject to an approval process in order to achieve those changes. Approving the amendment and approving the amendment of the special permit would not grant us any rights with respect to signage or any other underlying development. We still need to go to those other agencies to obtain their approvals. In terms of impacts, and this was a question that we had discussed last time, and we're not changing access. We are not changing any of the features. We have slightly less coverage than we had, impervious coverage, but our stormwater management system will remain the same, and we have provided the board with an analysis that was attached to our environmental assessment form, and we will also, I'm sure, be discussing that at the planning board level. We have less square footage and fewer rooms, so there is not going to be an impact on traffic. There was no need to do any additional traffic analysis since we're not generating more cars. In terms of lighting and landscaping, those have been issues that have been very important to the planning board at ACABOR in the planning process. There will be new lighting on the exterior of the building. It's going to be necessary, and in the parking area, but I'm sure that that's something that will be addressed, and we have always been held to a high standard to make sure that there is no adverse impact around us or on the Palisade Parkway corridor. That's been a matter of great attention and significance. Same with respect to signage. So we have a situation here where really the only change we're doing is we're taking two buildings, we're combining them into one. We're building parking in the area where the other building was proposed to be so that we have adequate parking on the site. And we are also going to be able to have a little bit more green space and landscaping because we are able to reduce the impervious surface to some degree. I mean, it's not a huge change, but we'll now see, and you can see in here too, that we've got plenty of room to put green space in the parking islands and aspects in that nature. Some of the comments from the county were that you have to make sure that we meet the criteria for the special permit. I mean, that's a given. I don't think there's anything that's a surprise there. They made a comment about the referral form. I don't understand what that was, and I think everything else that they talk about design-wise are issues that the planning board will address in the planning review process. So that's a summary. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to respond to them.
So basically, in simple terms, instead of two freestanding buildings, you're building the second building and putting an atrium between the two, or attaching the two.
They're actually attached. There is a
And there's
pass-
less rooms.
Fewer rooms, yes, but the total number of rooms
Okay.
is going to be 200. Total
ju-
number of rooms between
Just
them.
logistically, I'm not sure if you touched on it. Tonight, if the board is so inclined to do the zoning text change from the 30 to 35% and approves it, this is a combined hearing. We're going to ask that, again, if you approve it, that then it would get continued, the hearing would get continued for the law to take effect. We have to file with the Secretary of State. Then it'd come back for the special permit amendment on February 11th if it gets filed in time. If not, we'll continue it. So that's just a logistical matter.
I was here for the original law, and I support the change in this one. I think it's a good thing. You know, waiting for the second hotel a long time. This, to me, is a compromise, you know, in terms of what you're doing here, and I understand the economic reasons for doing it, and I still think it's good for the town. So I support this.
Thank you.
No one signed up for the public comment. Does anybody want to speak on this, just on this item? No? Okay, move to close. Dennis Troy moved to close. Oh, he was second. He beat you to it. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, so now we have to go on to number 13, which is the secret declare lead agency and zoning text amendment, special permit amendment, maximum percentage of total gross floor area that can be developed for retail and for restaurants, mixed-use developments, and mixed-use expansions. Now, I'm not going to read all this, am I?
Just, that's the first one is intention to declare lead agency.
Okay,
That to
Why do you
declare
have-
yourselves lead agency.
okay, yeah. Dennis Troy made a motion, second.
I'll second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye.
The next one is, now that your lead agency would be a negative declaration, again, which I had prepared based upon all
Okay.
the submissions.
Okay, so basically, number 14th is a negative declaration on the zoning text amendment. Do I have a motion?
With assistance from the slate.
I had 2 seconds, I'll pick one of them. All in favor?
Aye.
Paul moved. It was kind of a tie for them for the second, I don't know. Now, just remind me, we have to do the roll call. Mr. Town Attorney. Okay, so 15's, we're actually adopting the local law?
Right.
Okay. So we're going to adopt local, I guess, to fill in the blank, for the zoning text amendment for the special permit. Do I have a motion? Tom Divany moved. Second.
I'll second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye.
And then this is part of it, just continue to hear a public hearing, tonight's public hearing.
Okay, so this is what we just talked about from, okay. So, do you have a motion to continue the public hearing to amend the special permit to February 11, 2020 at 7:45? Paul Valentine, move. Second. Dennis Troy, all in favor? Aye. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
We did so well with that one, we'll have another one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, might as well, right? Right, what time we have it on for?
8 o'clock,
At 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's after, let's just do it, yeah, okay.
8:13.
Okay, can I have a motion to open a public hearing to increase the improvement of the facilities of the Orangetown Sewer District in the town of Orangetown? Okay. A second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Okay. I need to, town clerk to tell us about any publications, any submissions received?
Yes, we've affidavit on application and we'll post it.
Okay, and no letter from planning, anybody, okay, good, okay. No comments from outside agents, okay, we're gonna have Jeff, I guess, make the presentation on this?
The sewer bond is for $2.6 million in public improvements. And just as a review of the sequence of events, on January 7th, we did an order calling the public hearing for today for $2.63 million. It was posted on the town clerk's board. We published the order calling the public hearing in the Journal News on January 14th, which had to be 10 days before the hearing, but less than 20, so that was 14 days right in the middle. We received the affidavit of publication, and tonight we're holding the hearing for that. Item 19, which you'll see there, the town board will declare that the improvements are in the public interest. And we need a supermajority vote on that, so we need all 4 of you to vote affirmative for that. And same thing with item 20, which is the resolution to authorize the issuance of $2.6 million to improve the sewer district. That's the summary. I don't know if you have additional questions.
Anybody want to bring up Eamon or some sewer, or you good with?
In terms of the bond indebtedness for the town, we've gone through this a whole bunch of times, you know, and again, just to put it out in the public, in terms of each year we have bonds that come off, that finish up, that are paid off, and we're basically in the same point we were a year ago, or 2 years ago.
Or 8
you know,
years
with the-
ago.
Or 8 years ago.
Yes.
Right? I think that's an important thing for the public to understand that.
Yeah.
All right? So-
That's correct. This bond is $2.6 million. The other bonds that we issued, or haven't issued yet, but we've authorized, total about $10 million. And we tend to, or try to, only issue bonds once every 2 years. We're paying off over the next 2 years a little over $9 million. So this would slightly, increase the bond usage, but it was a little more than 2 years. So we actually are down from, where we were. So if you look at it, our bonds outstanding have been completely flat for the last 8 years.
Yeah. Again, nobody signed in for this. Does anyone want to speak? Come on, Mike.
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny and members of the town board. Michael Mandel, resident of Pearl River. Excuse me. This is the question. It says, construction of various sewer system-related improvements and the equipment. Exactly what improvements? Where are they being made? What are they? Is it all over in Nyack again with their pipes falling apart, or is it part of our sewer plant? It'd be nice to know exactly what we're spending that much money on. Thank you.
See if anyone else?
Yeah. Eamon-
Have Eamon get it.
Yeah. Eamon's getting up. I think Amy's gonna.
Just to help answer that, the majority of it goes to 7 pump stations that we're going to be upgrading. Some of these were built as far back as 1963. They're due for, certainly due for upgrades and improvements. We've certainly got our useful life out of them, and we're on borrowed time on a lot of them. That's the majority of the bond, about 1.2 million or so goes to that. The rest of it's for structural improvements to within the facility, the buildings, and also vehicles to help us be, more proactive in our approach to keeping the system, up and running in a modern way.
So going back to the earlier speaker's question about in terms of what we're doing for Nyack, Nyack has cost us a lot of money through the years, in terms of upgrading a system that was never upgraded over 50 years that I know of. But, so I'm glad to see this is going to other projects.
Jeff, did you want to say something?
Eamon, you didn't identify us. This is Eamon Riley, the
Yes,
head of our
Eamon Riley,
DEME
Commissioner of
department.
No? Okay, no questions?
This is also going to add some modernization to these pump stations, such as
Absolutely.
a telemetry
VFDs,
system?
Controls, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Nobody else? Okay. So can I get a motion to close? Okay, Dennis Troy, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, we gotta do a roll call, right?
No, not for close.
Oh, not for the close. All in favor? Aye. I have notes over here, roll call. Okay. Okay, so the next one is where we need the roll call. So, when I make a motion to authorize that basically it's in the improvements in the public interest. So can I get a motion?
So moved.
Dennis Troy?
Second.
Tom Divany? Okay, do a roll call.
Okay, on the motion? Yes.
Roll call.
Dennis Troy,
On the motion, yes.
Teresa Kenny,
Yes.
Tom Divany,
Yes.
Paul Valentine.
Yes.
When are you gonna authorize the issuance of the bonds?
And that's not, okay. Next one, yeah, we have to authorize basically the approval of the bonds. Can I get a motion?
Move.
Divany, second.
Second.
All right, roll call on the motion.
Roll call on the motion.
Dennis Troy,
Yes.
Teresa Kenny,
Yes.
Tom Divany,
Yes.
Paul Valentine.
Yes.
All right, so now we'll
Okay,
go through the rest of it starts at 34,
yeah, 34.
and then well, we gotta go through the items, and then we go to workshop.
Yeah, we'll workshop, and then if anybody wants to speak. What's that?
We're gonna,
Yeah, we're picking up on 34.
all right.
Okay. We're all over the, I know we're all over the place tonight, yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna workshop these. We have the approving the pilot agreement with Premier Brands of America. I know the school district has approved this. All right, Rob, anything else we need to know on that?
Did the county sign off on this? Yep, they're here, the county.
Usually wait until the school district signs off.
No, I just know we had a couple of these pilots where the county wasn't signing off.
No, they, yeah, my understanding is they are. and,
Okay.
This is a little different, it's a 13-year, but
All right.
the school district has signed off.
Okay. The next one, we have some more certificate of sewer registrations. I'm told these kind of come in as the year goes on, so that's the people that file with the DME. Next, we have 36, James Dillon, approval to attend a conference there for the Highway Department. 37, resolution to approve the American Public Works Association Annual Equipment Show. Exciting stuff. 38, resolution to approve the Highway Department Open House. Then we have 39, we have accept the resignation, retirement of Lieutenant Michael Davin. Then 40, we have accept the resignation, retirement of Police Officer Michael Ryan. Then we have 41, authorize a service agreement with Goostown Communications, that's a police matter. 42, authorize managed services communications equipment with Goostown again, I think it's another police one. And then we have accept the resignation, retirement of Police Officer Kevin Drain, effective March 13, 2020. And then we have 44, which Jeff is probably going to have to come up and speak about. Basically, as Jeff explained to me, I like to call it a refinance, basically refinancing our bonds. But Jeff, you want to come up and just explain it in?
Okay, periodically, I looked at our old bonds that have been issued to see if we can refund them at a lower rate. This is our 2010 bonds. Most of our bonds have a 10-year period where you can't call them. This comes up, it becomes callable in September of this year. So with the decline in interest rates again, it's a very fortuitous time to refinance or refund these bonds. And since we're doing the other bonds, it made sense to try and combine it with them to only have one Moody's call, only have one financial advisor, bond counsel to save all those costs. If interest rates stay where they're at right now, it will save $140,000 to $150,000. And obviously, if they drop, they'll be better. The thing is, once this resolution is passed, we can do it at any time. So if when we're going out with our regular bonds for new money, the interest rates are not favorable, we're not doing it for the refunding portion. But it'll be ready for us to do it later. So when those rates decline, we can see where the rates are in the market and take advantage of that. So the idea is to do it at the same time as the new money, assuming rates are favorable. And if not, the resolution will be done, and as soon as rates drop back down again, then we'll attack it then. Any questions?
Thank you.
A lot of pages to say that, but anyway. Okay. And then we go to 45, which is basically some accept, receive, and file documents for the town clerk's office. And then we'll go into the audit, and then, okay. So I guess we have to go back and open the public comment. God, I'm all confused. Okay, we got a motion from Tom Divin. You have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. Okay, we got anybody, public portion, 3 minutes?
Did anyone, did we have a sign?
No, no one signed, oh, I don't know if we had a regular sign-in. Okay, we did. For the regular sign-in?
Do we have it?
Oh, no one had signed into it? Oh,
Right.
you're right, we do. No one signed into that one
Alright,
either.
so
Okay, Eileen, it's all yours.
Eileen, you're up.
Hi, members of the board, Supervisor Kenny. I'd like to, first of all, thank Joan Solomon for serving on the ZBA board for many years. She served the board well, and I'm sorry to see that she did retire because she's the only one from Palisades on any of the land use boards, and now we're down to 0. But anyway, I'd also like to ask if there would be any consideration to appointing a committee of local people to be on a Cablevision committee / VIOS, because there was a committee at one time a while back. It didn't really go too far, because even though at that time maybe the industry was better than it is today, but I think Cablevision now is attached to Altice, and I don't know, about maybe I'm the only one who feels that the service is not as good as it should be. But, and the fees they charge, and I think I was told a lie today. I was charged $80. The man came to my house for 5 minutes, left, did not complete the job. 2 days later, another man came, he fixed it. I get the $80 bill, I called up, and they said, oh, well, the man changed all the wires. I said, no, he didn't change all the wires. He had a remote. He fixed whatever it was with a remote. And they said, well, it says these people who come to your home don't work actually for Cablevision. They're contracted out. And I said, no, and the man did. My point is this, is that when they leave, you have to sign something that they came, but you actually don't know what you're signing for. So now it's another time that I have to take out of my very busy life to contact Cablevision and try to get to the bottom of this. And so I'm asking if you would give some consideration to forming that kind of a committee, because it would really be a volunteer committee. And maybe there's people out there who hear this tonight, and they feel that they too would like to be able to voice their, what they feel is good or bad about the television, where we get our television today. There's a lot of unrest out there, I think, but people sometimes don't have a place to go to. And anyway, it's just a suggestion. Maybe the people would like to. And I think also Cablevision has been in the past not up to date paying their bills. I think with DVR at one time, they weren't paying their fees. Their contracts go on for years and years, and they never get enough, they never pay more, but we always pay more in our services. And I pay for something that I don't even want. And it's an impact on my income, but I seem to get nowhere with it. So maybe if you formed a committee and you had people would come out and express how they feel, have people come from Cablevision and BIOS and meet with the public. You know, they're out there in the iCloud, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. Barbara?
Barbara Dello of Blauvelt, And I wish I had my kids here because they're in finance, and that is not my area of expertise. So I'm asking a question for clarification. On the public improvement refunding serial bonds forward delivery, is that only for bonds that have been already voted on and approved, or will there be any contingency money built into that for, say, future bonds? So that's my question.
That's what I response that are already outstanding from 2010 with the funding, so it's like a refinance of the board.
Anybody else? Okay, we got, Dennis Troy made a motion to close.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 34, I think.
Just quickly, I want to address Eileen. I don't think that's a bad idea. I did have an elderly gentleman come to me in my office today and complain about how his cable went up 40%. And that wasn't his main complaint. His main complaint was that on his bill, it says that New Jersey seniors get a discount. And then he was in his senior club, and he found out that the people in Ramapo get a senior discount, but the people in Orangetown don't get a senior discount. So it is something, I think they're up pretty soon, and it is something we should look at, and I think that would be one avenue that we should definitely look at, as well as the service and the ever-increasing cost. It's sort of like a game. You go a year here, a year here, a year here, but then you always have these people in your house messing around with the wires and stuff, so I don't think that's a bad idea. It's something we should discuss.
Is that like the franchise agreement? Do we know when it's up there? Okay. Yeah, but it's a good, maybe to start. I've heard a lot of complaints, too. Okay. Okay, so we're on item number 34, approving the pilot agreement with Premier Brands. Anything? No? Okay. Can I have a motion to move? Dennis Troy?
Second.
Tom Dimony, all in favor?
Aye.
35, approval of the certificate of sewer registrations. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Paul Valentine.
Second.
Tom Dimony, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 36, approve for James Dillon to attend the New York State Arborist Conference. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Okay, Tom Dimony, second.
I'll second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolved to authorize to host the 2020 American Public Works Association Annual Equipment Show on Wednesday, May 20th from 10 to 3. Do I have a motion? That was Dennis Roy. I think Dennis beat you. Tom Dimony, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, resolution to approve the Highway Department open house on May 16th, 2020, from 10 to 2. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Paul Valentine, second. Tom Divany, all in favor?
Aye.
39, accept the resignation of Lieutenant Michael, oh, I'm sorry, oh, yeah, okay, accept the retirement of Lieutenant Michael Davin. Have a motion?
Moved.
Okay, you got that, Rosanna? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Accept the retirement of Police Officer Michael Ryan. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Paul Valentine, second. Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Authorize the service agreement with Goosetown Communications on the recognition of the Chief of Police from January 2020 to December 31, 2020, at a monthly cost of $32.95. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Dennis Troy, second. Tom Divany, all in favor?
Aye.
Authorize managed services communicate again upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, enter an agreement with Goosetown.
Moved.
Thank you, because I didn't know. Tom Divany, move, second. Dennis Troy, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Accept the retirement of Police Officer Kevin Drain. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Tom Divany, second.
I'll second.
Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 44.
Roll call?
I don't think so. No roll call on this. Oh, there's a roll call on 44? No. Okay. So I guess upon the recommendation of the Finance Department here, a resolution for the issuance pursuant to Section 90 of the local finance law refunding bonds to the town of Orangetown. Can I have a motion? Do it anyway? Okay,
Yeah, we did on the other bonds, I'm surprised we wouldn't.
yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
Okay,
second.
did it. Tom, do any second?
Roll
Let's do a roll call. It's not, I don't think we had it in here, we weren't, yeah. It's right at the bottom.
Okay, Dennis Troy,
Yes.
Teresa Kenny.
Yes.
Tom Diviny,
Yes.
Paul Valentine.
Yes.
.45, accept and receive and file documents to the town clerk's office as identified there. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Paul Valentine, second.
Second.
Tom Diviny, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, boy.
Four warrants for 1.8 million. First warrant had 73 vouchers for 669,000. Items of interest, number one, Chair of the Workers' Comp Board, $21,000 for the fourth quarter payment. Number two, Dwight Joyce as attorney, $575,000 for legal settlement. Number four, Gentili Construction, $21,000 for asbestos testing at Chief Bill Harris Way properties. The second warrant had 84 vouchers for $229,000. Items of interest, number 9, Slack Chemical, $22,000 for sewer chemicals. Number 10, Sprague, $15,000 for fuel. The third warrant had 1 voucher for $22,000 and was for the NIPA streetlight project. The fourth warrant had 16 vouchers for $910,000. Items of interest include, number 1, Commissioner of Finance, $104,000 for tax certiorari's. Number 3, CSEA Employee Benefit Fund, $31,000 for dental benefits. Number 4, Department of Civil Service, $756,000 for health care benefits. Any questions on the audit?
You have to make a motion to pay it? Okay. Okay, so can I get a motion on the vouchers?
Moved.
Okay. Tom Diviny, second. Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to be entering executive session. We're not going to be voting on anything. We're not going to vote, but so we want to do our adjournments now. In memory of, we have Margaret Peg Bukema, a resident of Nyack, and Dr. Thomas Gilgannon, the third, a resident of Valley Cottage. He happened to be my dentist and a really great guy. It's very sad. He was my dentist probably 30 years. Yeah, you know, very sad. Anyway, anyone want to say anything about? What's that? Oh, Kobe Bryant. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna make a motion to enter executive session. Yes, oh. Yeah, personnel matters, right.
All right, and we're gonna vote to close.
Yep, close and adjourn. Moved.
Very confusing. All in favor? Yeah, everybody. That was one confusing agenda.